Hey, Wealth Warriors, are you ready to redefine wealth and master your money mindset? Welcome back to Women of Wealth. I'm your Gen X host, Hawley Woods Gray.
And I'm your millennial host, Allie Ramo.
And today we're doing something special. You hear her on every episode. You see her growth, her perspective, and her fire. Today we're diving into her story. Allie Ramo, welcome to the hot seat.
Ooh, I don't know if I'm ready for this, but let's go.
All right, let's just take it back to the beginning. Let's rewind it. Before all this, before Women of Wealth, before Appreciation Financial, before the insurance and financial services industry, who were you when you were 12 years old? And what did you think your life would look like?
Well, that's right. I joined Appreciation when I was 13.
Yes. Seems like it, huh?
I have an athletic background, but didn't do it through college. And I guess I water skied, but I wasn't like a NCAA competitor. But I was really into health and fitness, and I thought that's what I wanted to do. In 7th, 8th grade, I wanted to be a physical therapist, and I was always getting injured. I feel like I've broken almost every bone in my body or fractured it or sprained it. And so I went into college with a physical therapy degree. And then after having a bad ski injury, went to physical therapy and was like, I really don't think I want to do this. They were like giving me the same exercises I could do at home or in the gym. And it was like copy paste for everything. And it just didn't seem exciting to me. So then I got into athletic training, didn't like that. Then I got into public health where I was like, okay, maybe I want to write policy. I want to make change in the world. And then I worked at the California Department of Public Health and saw how that went.
Yeah.
And so it was just like really slow. I mean, you were making change, but at a very slow rate. So then I graduated college and had no idea what I wanted to do at this point. I had had all these internships, but didn't really have direction. So I worked at a nonprofit for a little bit, worked at a solar company for a little bit. And when I was working at the nonprofit, I was so miserable. There was one day that I just got into it with my boss and I just quit that day. I gave her my 2 weeks notice because it was her and I running this organization. Didn't know what I wanted to do. So went into car photography. That's where I met my husband. So I know in your episode, we talked about, having a backup plan, but had I had a backup plan, an actual one, I probably wouldn't have met Dylan. And then COVID happened. There was a chip shortage in cars, and my aunt said that she had a friend who needed an assistant, and I had had so many administrative roles. I said, sure, why not? I need a job. Again, not having a backup plan. It was just how it was. And then I met you, Hawley.
The rest is history. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, told you I didn't want to do this. I kept telling you I didn't want to do this as I got my health coaching certification. And then one day it just clicked that I did want to actually do this.
Yeah. So it's interesting, right? So Allie was working with me for a couple years during COVID mostly. When she first talked to me about becoming my assistant, she said, I'm never going to be in financial services. And I'm like, okay, well, you'll just kind of be on the sideline then of financial services because, you're going to learn a lot just by, osmosis, I guess. By being my assistant, you're going to learn a lot about the industry, right? So what initially drew you into the space outside of, you working with me, and what scared you a little bit about stepping into it?
I think going to the convention with my husband has a sales background. I do not. I've always been admin, like a supportive role for someone. And I loved doing creative things. So like social media, graphic design. Sales was never in my wheelhouse. When I worked at the solar company, I worked with the sales team, but as an administrative role. And I never considered myself a salesperson. And so when I went to convention and met some of the people and basically had that, if they can do it, I could mentality. And then my husband being like, man, if this is legit, you should do it. And he wasn't my husband at the time. He was my boyfriend, but him saying, oh, this sounds legit. And then me asking you for a raise and you telling me to get my license to be written on business. It all like it was, the willingness to take the opportunity and then the fact that I was there and exposed to it. I don't think there was one moment other than, me looking at my boyfriend at the time and him being like, man, if this is legit, you should do it. And that was kind of like the nail in the coffin of like, okay, I think I'm going to do this.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember it all. When you started working in the field, when was that moment when it all clicked? Because I know you had some moments where you're like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. When did it all click? And when did you really turn it from I can do this to I'm going to do this?
I think it was about a year after my first policy was completed. And it was actually on a massive mistake that was made. So so we did a policy for a client. A year later, it wasn't showing what we had thought it was going to show. And she was getting ready to retire. And she was like, this is not enough income for me to live on. We thought it was going to be this number and it's not. And it was a really big learning lesson for me of how illustration works and these kinds of things, that they're not perfect. And anyways, working with the carrier to undo and then create a new policy that does work for her, one, gave me trust in the carriers we work with, that, she was under a surrender period. She wasn't supposed to make any changes. If she did, she was going to have a heavy fee. But them waiving certain things and getting her into a policy and seeing her cry of like how much that affected her life and how much ease she had going into retirement now, knowing her guaranteed income was going to be what it is now at that point when we solved it.
Yeah.
That's when I really saw that what we do makes a difference. It's not just like fixed index annuities, like, oh, if you don't get anything, you're guaranteed to never lose anything, blah, blah. No, this lady was counting her pennies as she was retiring from her pension, and my choices really mattered. And having those conversations with her really encouraged me to be more of a strategic thinker in this business and made me want to do it more, because I've got the heart for it. I'm looking out for my clients. If I don't do this, someone else will. And I want to be the best agent for my clients.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. So money and confidence go hand in hand. You've heard me talk about it a million times, probably. How has your relationship with money changed since you stepped into the financial services world?
I laugh because I don't think I would have ever invested into as many coaching or just personal development things had I not met you. But I saw how you were like, it's not that you don't have a relationship with money, but it's just an energy exchange. I'm going to spend this and then it's going to come back to me because now I'm a better person. And so I think that my relationship with money has gone that I invest in myself more. I guess to make a long answer short is I'm willing to invest in myself more, and I'll bet on myself before I bet on anyone else taking care of me. That has nothing to do with my husband. I mean, as like an employer taking care of me financially, I would rather put the investment in myself and then watch myself grow.
Yeah. I think people don't realize how much being a business owner changes you, right? Because if you don't change, then you don't if you don't pour into yourself for like the personal development and the confidence and really being able to understand that money is an energy change, and that, having a good mentor or having a good coach is something that's going to support you in getting to the next level, then I think a lot of entrepreneurs miss the boat on that. I think that they just think, even people who have been really, really successful just on their skills alone, I think they get to a certain point and they kind of hit a wall and they don't realize that the breakthrough is beyond what they already know about themselves. Like they have to go stretch themselves so they can grow to the next level. I mean, honestly, I think that that's the biggest thing about entrepreneurship, is that people don't invest enough in themselves to get to the next level. So I love that answer. What are you doing differently right now that's actually producing results in your business?
Talking to people, because I have the admin roles in that side of me, I do tend to hide behind a computer and like get my administrative work done and that kind of thing. But when I'm in a rut, I go TP, see the people. I go talk to people. I go give back. I will do volunteer events. School supplies because we work on school campuses. I'll bring my big red wagon and full of school supplies and just walk around and meet teachers. And that really works for my business.
Let's talk a little bit about mentorship and growth. What's something that you had when you became an entrepreneur or you started working with appreciation? What's something you had to unlearn and something you've had to fully step into?
It kind of is around that investing in yourself. So I think I almost got addicted to personal development. And there was a time where my husband was like, okay, no more coaching, no more. You have the tools that you need to get to yourself to the next level. You're not allowed to pay for anything this year until something happens. And so that was something that I had to let go of, that like I am enough. How I am right now is I'm enough to get the clients that are right for me right now, because I can help a lot of people with where I'm at right now. I don't have to know it all. And I'm a little bit of a perfectionist of like, I need to know everything right now in order to be the best person and the best agent. And so I let that go of, where I am right now. Now I do have coaches and things like that, but there was a good year where I took a break from any kind of coaching and just really focused on doing what I already knew. I wasn't saying like I'm not reading books or, getting advice from other people or asking other things. It was just, I was not purchasing something to make me feel like I needed something. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that a lot of times people purchase things like, let's just talk about the eWomen membership, right? They purchase it and then they don't take advantage of all the coaching that you get on Monday mornings that's included in your membership. I mean, I've been a part of different groups and I know for sure I haven't gotten the full value out of what I paid, but it wasn't because of them. It's because I didn't go do the stuff, And so I think that's one of the things for me and like the people on my team that I'm working with right now. I'm really looking at how can you get the fullest value out of the people that are already in your circle, your community, and how can that produce the results that you want? Because I mean, just like I was saying earlier about, some of the books that I'm listening to, you can learn a lot, even from books that you've read. I mean, I probably read Think and Grow Rich at least once a year. I learn something new every time I read that book. And I've read it probably 30 times,
I think we were talking about books on a previous episode.
Oh yeah, we were. Anyway, so talk a little bit about your community and how that's grown and changed since you've gotten into entrepreneurship.
I was recently having a conversation with someone about how I think a lot of people, I don't know if it's just people my age or in the United States, but are having a hard time committing to things. And I watched a Netflix documentary about people aren't committing to memberships anymore or clubs or groups and things like that. And I realized working from home kind of felt lonely. And so when we opened our San Diego office, it really helped me have this community aspect. And there are agents who I became friends with. I knew them at appreciation, but I didn't really know them. But because we had an office, we're friends. Like we hang out on our birthdays and we go out on the weekends together. But it was because our office, we were there meeting twice a week now, that we actually knew these people we were working in our agency with. And so I think I've put myself out there in different groups to just get connected with the people who are out there who are like-minded also and don't want to just spend the weekends at the bar, because I've had that group of friends and that holds me back in my business. And so I am really building, I've got eWomen Network. I have some other groups that I'm a part of that they challenge me to be a better person, and they're there if I need assistance with things. And so I am working on building my community, and that's kind of how I'm building my community, is by committing to different organizations or committing to happy hour with my networking group or something like that, so that I do get connected with people more.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to fall into that cycle of not getting out and meeting new people because, I mean, I think a lot of us, myself included, got used to not going out. I mean, sometimes just the idea of having people over is like overwhelming because it's like, I have to make sure the house is clean. Do we have the right food? You know, is everybody's dietary needs being met? But at the end of the day, like the more community that you have built, the more you're going to grow personally, and your business will grow too, because then people will be like, oh, Allie does that, you know?
Yeah. And we don't have anything that really forces us to get out into the world, because Dylan and I love traveling. So it's just him and I. We'll go camping. It's just him and I. We go to the gym, we go hiking. We love spending time with each other so much that, you know, we forget to bring other people into the world. And so it's been a really intentional thing to put myself in different communities so that I do get, you know, different perspective is really important. Having diverse people in your life is really important. And networking only with eWomen Network, you know, that doesn't allow me to network with men, and men have a lot of value to my business as well and to my life. So that has really changed how I do things too, is co-ed connections. So
well, and also, I mean, that networking group too doesn't have a lot of people your age in it. So I'm glad that you're reaching out and doing some different things with different groups, because I mean, eWomen have mostly women my age, you know? So it's good that you, unfortunately, I think it will change.
Well, no, I'm saying, unfortunately, most of the groups I'm in, I think I'm the youngest in them all.
Well, you are young compared to the average entrepreneur. Most women don't start a business until they're 42. So good for you. You started younger.
I'm learning early, so it's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. I know. Okay, what does being a woman of wealth mean to you? Not the brand, but personally.
You kind of hit it in your episode, but I think it's being able to do what I want when I want and keeping my dignity intact. And I'll leave it at that. Yeah, freedom to do. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay, so what? Let's talk a little bit about what you would do differently if you were starting at your career over again with the financial services side.
I would go out a lot more. I went into the field in 2023, but I would do lunches and things like that, but door knocking and, you know, meeting individuals one-on-one is really important in our business. And I don't think I did that enough. I think I relied on lunches too much, like big group events too much. But that's okay. I'm doing that now. But in financial services, I think as far as networking goes, I put myself out there because of your involvement in eWomen Network. I recommend every person who is in a new space to be part of a networking organization, because it forces you to talk about what you're doing, and you get really good really quick at getting that verbiage down in a simple manner. And I think that helped me more than other agents who don't do that. So that was something I would do again. But yeah. I would just, you know, go see my audience more in person.
Yeah, I think it's a really great point. I mean, now I've been a part of the Chamber of Commerce since we moved here. However, I haven't really embraced it. And so that's one of my goals for the next couple quarters, is to get involved more with the Chamber of Commerce, because eWomen is going to be great for individual products. However, businesses, they network differently than individual solopreneurs do. So I don't know if you are in any type of groups like Bobby's and Latip, and then there's some other ones. There's like a BNI and that kind of stuff. Those are like more traditional kind of businesses, more so than eWomen, where it's like a lot of solopreneurs. So are you in any of those types of groups that have businesses?
The group I just recently, I'll plug them here. It's called 6 Degrees, but they're a smaller connection group, and we meet in different, like small, like 10, 12 people in different areas in San Diego. So they've got different groups all over San Diego, but then they do different events. Like they're going to a San Diego soccer game next week together. They got like this whole they rented out this whole not
Area.
box, but area, of like 150 people. And they go and do things. Like they went to Padre games last year. They go and do things as friends. And I really like that it's more than just a networking group. They're really building a community and connections. So that's one of the groups that I've joined.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's how it is for e-women for me. Like a lot of the people in e-women are my friends too, so like if we have a grand opening for a business or something, 10, 12, 15 people will show up for it and really support the people that are doing it. So I really like that.
Yeah.
Okay, going back to the Women of Wealth, I'm going to ask you a couple questions that you asked me on the podcast that we did when you were interviewing me. What kind of woman do you hope Women of Wealth will create 10 years from now?
There's a book I think it's called The Champagne Diet, but I always felt competitive with women until, I don't know, maybe around the time I came into appreciation. I think with all the personal development and stuff, I've just learned that I'm not in competition with women. So it's not even a thought anymore. But I can see growing up that was with sports and things like that. You're always worried about, your position and things like that. So you're always competing with each other, even though you're on a team, and comparing yourself. And so I see in the future that women are power teams rather than competitors. And that's why I love, recording and interviewing other women too, is because we're building each other up in whatever we're doing. And it's not a competition, even when we're in the same industry. Like we network with women who do the same things that we do. And I never feel like I'm in competition with them. It's like we're building each other up. And so that's what I see in the future, is that women continue to build each other up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is such a great example. I think I don't know. I mean, I think I had some really good coaches in the fact that the last coach that I had anyway, Coach Poole, he did a really good job of teaching us like, this is your position. And yes, we had to fight for our position, but we also had a role on the team. And I think that that's a piece that is missing in younger sports, like when you're competing, when maybe you're in high school and stuff like that. Because, in high school, unless you're like the best player on the team, then you get all the credit being the best player on the team. But then when you get to college, it doesn't matter if you're the best person on the team, because now you're equal. It's like an equal playing ground. You know what I mean? I think that's a really good point, because that can be impacted by coaching, personal coaching, as well as like the coaches that you have if you're playing sports. If you have daughters or even sons that are playing sports. My son, he's not the fastest kid on the team, but he has his role when he's playing football, right? They play 5-on-5 flag, and he has a role. He knows he's going to be the center where he hikes the ball. And then he also knows he's going to catch all the short passes, right? Because he's just really good at that. So it's like, that's his role. So I think we need to teach women that like, it's not a competition. This is a role that you get to play. And, this is your position in the whole big group. It's not necessarily like, I have so many friends that don't work with Appreciation Financial that are in financial services. And I never feel like it's a competition.
It's definitely in high school, when it was high school sports that I felt like was fighting for the position. It wasn't when I was in club sports and all-stars as like in elementary or middle school. I didn't get that as feeling until I went into high school. And that was when I was like, I don't want to keep doing this in college, because this isn't even fun to me at this point, which is why I went into water skiing. It'd be interesting to see what would have happened had I decided to do that. But I enjoyed water skiing in college. That was a blast. So
I bet it sounds fun. I learned how to water ski when I was in college, but that's another story for another day. All right. So I know eventually you and your husband are going to be parents. So whether you have a son or a daughter or multiple, what do you want them to think? What's like a lesson you want them to learn from your journey? Your future child or children?
To just go after something, and you don't even have to be 100% certain that that's what you want to do forever, but to just say, I'm willing to try and give it your all. I think too many people are hesitant and then live in hesitancy and don't really give things a full shot, myself included. I think I would have been a really successful athletic trainer, but I let something really stupid get in the way of that. But again, it wasn't it wasn't meant to be because everything that has brought me here.
Mhm.
But just go after something, choose something, and just go at it 100%.
That's awesome. Well, you'll probably have an opportunity when you do have children to be an athletic trainer, because my son recently sprained his ankle. And nowadays you can just watch a video on YouTube to like reintroduce yourself to how to tape an ankle. And then you'll be taping their ankle. You'll be putting a brace on their arm. You'll be taping their fingers together when they get it jammed. You can be like a mom/athletic trainer. You can have a kid on the team who hurts his thigh area, and he comes off the field and he's in pain, and I'm like giving him more pain and have to like tell his parents that, oh yeah, I was a college coach and I know what I'm doing. I'm not just groping your son.
I like that. Allie, the athletic training mom.
Yeah, athletic training mom. There you go. Yeah, I mean, that's how Katie is with all her kids. She was athletic trainer when she was in grad school and a little bit after college, and all of her kids are athletes. So she'll have all the stuff. She'll have the mustard in case they get cramps, the little packets. Yep. So Allie, the athletic trainer/mom. There you go.
Love it.
From last year to this year, what are some of the goals that you're working on? I know you've accomplished some of them with some of your people promoting and getting, your AVP almost a year ago now. Oh, look at that.
Yep. I know we work with numbers, but I am not a numbers person, and I'm hesitant to say I'm not a numbers person because I have become more of a numbers person since when I first started, but it doesn't necessarily motivate me. I've realized I'll set a goal for myself monetarily, and it's not really motivating enough for me. So this year I created a goal for my team of how many people are on my team and where they're at by the end of the year. Mm-hmm. And so that's my goal. So if you are thinking of starting financial services and you want to talk to me, I would love to talk to you and see if it's a good fit, because I'm looking for people to join my team and be successful at it.
Yeah, and Allie has trained a few people that have been successful at it. So her last person she trained was Rookie of the Year, promoted to agency vice president, and made $100,000 in the first 14 months that she was with us or so. So, yeah. If someone can do it and you can see a track to run on, it's pretty empowering for those that are looking at joining. So, yep. And not only that, you have my support as well. You get Allie and me, 2 for the price of 1. All right. So we're going to go into the lightning round. What's one belief about money that you had to change?
Don't always invest more than you feel comfortable with. I will elaborate. Sometimes you should invest and it makes you feel uncomfortable, but investing doesn't always have to feel uncomfortable. Sometimes it's your gut telling you you shouldn't be doing it rather than it's just a scary investment.
What is one habit that has changed your life?
Getting comfortable talking to people more.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
Thank you, Mom and Dad. Don't put on your credit card what you can't pay off.
What is the biggest lesson of the past year?
Not everyone is going to make it as much as I want them to make it.
That's so hard. Wanting it more than your people want it for themselves. It's so hard. All right. What are you most proud of right now?
Just this consistency of my life in general. My health is consistent. My business is consistent. And the people around me are reliable.
What is a belief you have about wealth that most people disagree with?
I think if you want to be wealthy financially, that you can be. And it's just a matter of whether you're willing to put the work in or not. And that's okay if you don't want to put the work in. That is a choice. But I think anyone who wants to be wealthy, making, $1 million or whatever, you have the opportunity and the tools, especially with technology nowadays, that you could do it.
Awesome. Last question actually I have 2 more. What is one word that describes the woman you're becoming?
I feel like I'm doing this, but I'm working on getting better, but patient.
Patience, okay. And last but not least, what does being a woman of wealth mean to you?
Doing what I want when I want, like on my terms, because because it doesn't mean I have to be a billionaire. It just means that my needs are met and my family is fulfilled, and that's it.
Well, what's the best way for people to reach you, Allie?
By email at aramo@appreciationfinancial.com. My personal Instagram is AYE_Ramo, Ramo. And our Women of Wealth Instagram is Wow Women of Wealth on Instagram.
Women of Wealth.vip is also our website, so you can connect with her there. So if you're listening or you saw Allie's story in our book or somewhere else, maybe that's a sign for you. As you can tell, you don't have to have it all figured out to get started. You just have to start. So make sure you subscribe, share the episode with a woman who needs to hear it, and we will see you next time.